Lynnell, I saw you tweeting about an impressive pass breakup by Lattimore. I believe it was on Noah Brown before he went down with the injury. Give us the skinny on Lattimore. We know that last season was kind of a lost season for him coming in from New Orleans with that hamstring injury. He was never quite right. What should we expect from him year 2 here in Washington?
Can we debut a nickname for Marshon Lattimore here on the Junks?
Sure.
Southeast Sean. Southeast Sean is what we call him.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a big-time bounce-back year. The play on Noah Brown yesterday was just peak Marshon Lattimore. He sits down in the stands, he's patient, and you see him break and drive on the football. The explosiveness is there. We got the chance to talk to him post-practice, and this was probably the first time, any of us have really heard him be transparent about what the injury status was for him last year. He gutted through it. He admitted that, he probably pushed himself further than maybe he should have because he wanted to prove himself to the team. All the frustration about, him, trash talking and then not being around during the voluntary session, it kind of makes up for it when you're that open and honest. But the thing that was interesting to me, Lattimore did not show up to the voluntary workouts, but when he came to the mandatory work, he's been thrown in there right away. He's done everything. He's done every team drill. He's participated in individuals. So he is 110% healthy. If that is the case, we know what he is when he's healthy. I mean, this is a bona fide top 5 to 7 corner in the sport. He locked down one half of the field. The big question is, can they keep him healthy? One thing they did last year, and we all talk about, the injury bug and not having it hit you, is kind of a luck thing. There was a preventative maintenance I saw from the team last year, starting in training camp with Ertz, Eckler, Bobby Wagner. I think they'll put Lattimore, under that same umbrella, so to speak, in terms of being just patient with him and allowing him to move at his own speed, because you do not want to push him too hard and have himself, get injured again.
What about the rookies? Any of the rookies standing out, even, on the offensive line, or Jalen Lane, any of these guys? Especially Lane, because I really think he's going to play a big part.
Yeah, the Jalen Lane thing is interesting to me, and I think he's one of the beneficiaries of Terry McLaurin not being out there. Mm-hmm. You get to see him lining up at a bunch of different spots in the slot, on the outside. They're going to find a way to get him the football in space. I think a lot of people, consider him in year 1. I feel like people are just setting the expectation for special teams, especially when you consider Noah Brown going down yesterday. He is going to have an opportunity to carve out a role for himself on the offensive side of the football right away. I am a loser and watch Get Up in the Morning, and Peter Schrager, now of ESPN, was on there, and he randomly name-dropped Jalen Lane as someone that's going to be a big part of this offense. It wouldn't have mattered to me, but Peter Schrager is like best friends with Cliff Kingsbury. So if he's saying it, you wonder, him and Cliff are having late-night conversations and saying, hey, Lane kid, Peter, where we're going to have to get him involved early and often. I think he'll be huge for them. Just adding speed is a big thing for them, and I think that was a goal of the offseason. They accomplished it by drafting him. On the defensive side of the football, Cam Medrano yesterday, their 6th-round rookie out of UCLA, made a couple of plays in coverage, and then you saw him punch the football away from Deebo Samuel and force a fumble. His role is going to be interesting. I think he's going to be, competing for that third linebacker spot. We know Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner will be 2 of the backers when they're in base. But I think it's really like a 3-man competition for that third spot between Dom Hampton, last year's 7th-round pick, Cam Medrano, and then Jordan McGee, last year's 5th-round pick, who has looked, just excellent, to this point in terms of just physically mature, fast, physical guy. So I think Medrano's going to have a chance to compete for the third linebacker spot. Trey Amos on the outside has been really sticky in coverage to start. That guy has a swagger about him in terms of just being confident in everything that he does. But one thing we've noticed, and we saw this last year with Jaden and Brandon Coleman, he's not going to start right off the rip. I don't think they're just going to hand him the job. When they go base defense in the first 2 days of mandatory minicamp, we've seen Jonathan Jones, the veteran from New England, on the outside, and then we've seen Marshon Lattimore on the outside with Sanders still in the slot. So I wouldn't hit the panic button if you don't hear about him, getting first-team reps right off of the rip because of what Washington has at the position. But I do think he'll ultimately, play his way onto the field at some point.